What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I am DJ, aka Talking Black. Got in for the first time. Hit that like button, subscribe button. So, there's been a lot of talk recently. We've talked about it on our shows I do on Wednesdays and Sunday nights, and just people online have been talking about the whole MCU. Is it failing and everything? And after the numbers with Fantastic Four came out this week, it's not looking good. Even though I think is a, no pun intended, fantastic movie, the numbers aren't good, and this is basically three in a row that just haven't been that financially, profitable for the MCU, and people are trying to, pinpoint one thing or whatever, saying what the problem is, everything from the quote unquote woke agenda to superhero fatigue to other stuff. But there's here a lot of discourse online about it and everything. And we've talked about it on the shows, Storms Live and the Hangout that I do. But my boy Rob from Storms Live, the host of Storms Live that I co-host with him with Danny and Gascore every Sunday at 8 p.m. Make sure you come check us out. He put out a video today titled Fantastic Four is Another Disaster. MCU is in big trouble. And I just want to go over this video with him, but he brought some really good points in it that I think are just spot on. Some of the points that we discussed before, and he brought some new points that I think are just, I think is just, facts, at this point. But let's go over his video, see what he says. Again, go over to his channel, Storms, Robert Storms. Check him out. I say I'm a co-host with him on the Storms Live, so let's see what he had to say.
It didn't, and I want to kind of be upfront with everybody. This is not a toxic video. This is not a hate video. If you guys have been following me for a while, I really kind of try to focus on positivity. But at the same time, I think there's room in order to talk about some of the tough topics about things that we love. And in this case, I'm talking about Fantastic Four not doing very well.
That is correct.
Had a huge second weekend drop off. And
I don't even know let me check. What are the numbers right now for Fantastic Four? Let's see. Fantastic Four box office numbers. Pull it up real quick. Let's see. I don't even know where they're at. How bad of a drop it was. I knew it was a drop. I don't know how bad it was drop over the weekend. Let's see. Fantastic Four. Let's see. Oh man, it had a 41% drop on weekend, 67% drop. Damn, that's not good. But yeah, let's go back to Rob, see what it says.
It doesn't look good. It's actually really bad for the movie, and it's really bad for Marvel and the MCU.
And it sucks because these are actually good movies.
Talk about this. Talk about the numbers. What does this mean? Is it time to hit a panic button? What went wrong? I just kind of want to have this
wouldn't
discussion.
Say panic, but they need to fix some stuff.
I'm not trying to be toxic. I'm not the one going, hey, they did this because of diversity or anything, because I think the answer is not just, a clean cut and dry, this is what happened. I think it's a multiple. It's
death by 1,000 cuts. It's more than one thing. It's a accumulation of things that have gone wrong since Endgame and Infinity War that just has brought Marvel down, and it's not just one thing that you can pinpoint.
Multiple different reasons, like why the MCU is struggling right now. It's like a death of 1,000 cuts. There's a lot of things in play right now, so I just kind of want to give my thoughts on it. So if you guys are coming in and you're finding me for the first time, or maybe you're a longtime viewer, just don't like me and never subscribe,
I like you, Rob.
Please just do me a favor.
I like you, my boy.
Just hit the like and subscribe button. It would help out so much if you just do that. So please
make
just
sure
hit
you
the
guys
like and subscribe, and I would appreciate it. So Fantastic Four, right now, let's look at the box office. Right now, websites are basically saying Fantastic Four is a box office flop, bombs with a 38.7 million
MCU
this weekend with 67% drop. Let's go over to the box office.
It's a really good movie. I just think
367 worldwide. Now, we can look at this as this is the second weekend. This is only the second weekend, so that there is some
There's true. There's
positivity
not
going
much
there.
big
Like,
coming
hey, we're
out
going
next few
into the
weeks.
second weekend. Yes, it was a huge drop off, but we know Marvel wanted this to do very, very well.
Yeah.
Like they just had a string of flops, and if you don't,
I think I said it before, and then on one of our nights we were streaming, I said this movie has a lot on its shoulders, like too much to bear. It has to set us up for Doomsday, and I'm like, it's a lot for this one movie to carry. When before all the other movies, the big movies, they had a accumulation of movies to build up to it. You know, you look at back in the Endgame era, we had 10 years of movies that actually built up to these movies. In every Avengers movie, there was a build up each one. This one, there's no build up, and you put it all on Fantastic Four. It was just too much for them, and not fair to them.
don't believe me, I'm gonna pull them up right now. Like you can look at Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts only made 382 worldwide, and it's in total run at the box office 382. It was a financial failure for the studio, and it's just something that we're not accustomed to seeing with Marvel. Captain America did a little better with 415 million worldwide, but again, with all the reshoots and everything that happened with that movie, again, another financial failure. And now we're looking at Fantastic Four, and this is looking like
Captain America
three
has so much going
strikes
against
and
it,
you're out
or reshoots and
scenario.
everything.
It looks like this movie is not going to make his money back. It's not going to break even. And again, I do want to emphasize that it's the second weekend. Who knows? This movie might have legs for days, but
Maybe.
as of right now, just being very optimistic here.
The problem with that though is
let's call it what it is.
The problem with that is though these movies are getting released on streaming so quick that they don't have time to have quote unquote legs.
It's not doing well with 367. Now, I also want to point out that me breaking down these numbers in no way talks about the quality of the film.
I completely agree. I think the movie
is a
I think that was a good movie. I thought Thunderbolts was a good movie.
Really good
I thought Captain America, even with his problems, I enjoyed that
Marvel
movie.
was able to finally get the Fantastic Four formula down. And I think Thunderbolts was a really fantastic movie too. I have my gripes with it, but at the end of the day, it's a really solid movie. And I enjoyed Captain America Brave New World a lot more than most people did. In fact, I must have watched this movie at least 4 or 5 times. I've seen it twice already. But again, I have my thing that
and that's the issue is like they're not. If the movies were trash, okay, I can say the numbers are they're valid. They're valid. The fact that the movies are either good or decent movies and they're not bringing in the numbers, that's what's really troubling with the MCU right now. As before, and we've talked about before, I think my boy Danny said it. You saw that Marvel tagline; it was guarantee you $500 million off the rip, no matter good or bad the movie. Just alone, the Marvel name alone was bringing in numbers. Now, mind you, this is pre-COVID and all that stuff, and pre-economy being what it is, and other factors, but again, back in the day when Marvel was hitting on all cylinders, you're seeing that tagline Marvel, people were in seats because it was a pop culture phenomenon. Now it's just, I don't know. I feel like they got away from their formula and they just, it's like I said, it's not one thing, it's many things that brought this thing down.
Kind of feel iffy about when it comes to that movie. With that said, I just want to point out that my critique on the numbers is not, it's not reflecting how I feel about the movies, because I thought all 3 movies were really good. Now let's talk about the hard truth. Why are these movies bombing?
Now we're getting into
Marvel failing time in, time out? And again, I can ask 50 people and 50 people will give me different answers.
And that's the issue right there.
It's a combination of so many different things. Whether we're talking about, COVID changing a lot of this. Like we could talk about superhero fatigue. We can talk about COVID changing things. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I used to go to the theaters like 3 times a week.
I wasn't that, but I was going at least
twice a month.
At least every weekend I was going to movie theater.
Do that. Sometimes I go months without going to the movies. The fact of the matter is,
I had the Fandango membership and everything.
Out there that are inconsiderate, that are on their phones in the theater. Like not only like it's getting worse, right? Because not only are they on their phones at the theater, right, just texting. Now I got people taking pictures, recording stuff for TikTok and Instagram. They're on their phone chatting with people,
and that goes to the whole movie going experience. Like people, and he's bringing up valid points. people are thinking, why am I going to go to it, spend money at a theater when possibly someone ruining my experience and basically taking my money from me, where I can wait till it comes out on streaming and be at home on my couch, comfortable, eating the meal that I want, spending less money uh, and watching the movie. So the movie going experience isn't what it used to be. The culture of movie going experience is what it used to be. Post COVID, pre COVID or whatever. So I mean, back in the day, it was a whole experience. Like you were around people, everybody there for the same reason. Every now you might have a rowdy group, but everybody was respectful. Now, and I know you say I'm old, whatever. I'm 40 years old. It's the TikTok generation. People's attention spans are so short now, and they can't sit for an hour and a half, 2 hours in a movie without checking this crack, this basically crack that we're all addicted to for an hour and a half. They cannot be separated. And I can say I'm guilty of it sometimes myself, but I'm still old school where I think the movies is a certain decorum that you're supposed to have when you go to theater. So, and that has gone out the way because this new generation, again, I'm sounding old. They grew up with streaming. They grew up with binge watching at home, watching movies at home. They didn't have to go to the movie theater to see a blockbuster, like we did back in the day. So they don't have that same, I guess, respect for the movies that we had back in the day.
Like,
just my opinion.
People are so inconsiderate, and a lot COVID did a lot of that.
Yeah,
COVID trained these people that they can just act and they have no manners, they have no etiquette anymore.
I wouldn't say that. I think more of the people are sitting at home.
Theaters are expensive. I try
the
to
economy.
Go on early matinee days. Or I tried to go on 5-hour Tuesdays. When I went to go see Superman
Good luck, man.
3 times, I saw Superman on a Tuesday or
an
early
of 4
matinee
or 5.
Where I was only paying $5
seen a kids movie. Dude, God, it's probably costing you $100.
Movie theaters are really expensive right now. By the time you pay for gas and go to the theater and all that, it's very, very expensive. If you have a family of 5 or 6, man, you're looking at $100, $150 just to go to a movie. So and again, the movie,
I go back to what I said. You spend that much money, and there's someone in there that ruins your whole experience. That's but people are not worth their risk no more. They're ready to stay at home, wait the 30, 45 days for it to come in streaming. They're ready to pay $20, to rent it when it first came out on streaming, than spending $150 with a chance of someone ruining a movie.
Situation isn't good. Not only that, Disney Plus did what it did. It taught people very early on that, hey, you can just wait for these movies in 30 to 45 days
and spend a fraction of the price you have to go.
And you can watch it there. I don't know how many people I talked to said, hey man, did you catch Fantastic Four? Oh no, I'll wait for Disney Plus. I mean, that's sort of the nature of the beast right now. Basically, Disney and these streaming service has taught us as viewers that we can wait to see certain movies.
Exactly.
If it's not a movie that is like an absolute spectacle, like Deadpool and Wolverine, we can just wait. I think certain movies will definitely.
Well, that goes back to the whole Marvel thing. Was he saying back when Marvel was doing good, Phase 2 and 3, it was a pop culture phenomenon. Like if you weren't seeing a Marvel movie, you weren't cool. Whether you were like me and Rob and the guys in this sphere where we nerd out and stuff on these. We know the more intro details and everything, or you are, as we call them, normies, a regular Joe Smo going to see movies. Everybody knew about the Marvel movies. So whether you were an expert or just a nobody, not knowing about it, you went to the theater because it was a pop culture thing. And Marvel has lost that the last few phases because, you can blame Disney Plus and streaming. And like I said, COVID, because, again, like I said, you had to go to the theater to see this. Now it's like, I'll just wait 45 days, to see it. And it's not that big buildup that we had before in the first early phases.
Break that mark. I think Spider-Man, people are going to run out to see Spider-Man. I do think Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars will do well. Will it do as good as Infinity War and Endgame? I mean,
I don't, at this point, honestly, I don't know. Again, I go back to what I said before. The Infinity War and Endgame, they had 10 years of movies with what, 4.5 Avenger movies prior to that. to build up to this, all the other movies with end credit scenes, the connectivity and everything. And like I said before, they put all this on Fantastic Four. So there's no build up, there's no hype for Doomsday like it was before. So I'm kind of worried in that aspect of it.
The jury's still out on that one. We do not know. We're not going to know what the effects of all this stuff did to these Avengers. But I mean, we just have no build up to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're getting ready to go into Avengers Doomsday. We don't even know who the Avengers are.
Valid.
We have no idea who's on
we
Sam's
have the Thunderbolts.
team. We got the Thunderbolts that are comprised
Bad News
of
Bears
rejects and Disney Plus
the
characters.
B team. The C team, actually.
Don't even like. Look at the numbers. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up, guys. Look, people do not care. Right? Obviously, people do not care.
The normies aren't going to the movie to boost the numbers.
That is a problem. I'm not making this up. I'm not coming out here and hating just to hate. I gave every one of these movies a positive and a well above average score when I reviewed these movies. And I highly recommend.
But the numbers are showing people aren't going to see these movies.
But let's just call it the way it is. If we're gonna praise them for doing fantastic, no pun intended, we also need to criticize them when things aren't working. Everybody knows that ever since Endgame, the MCU has been an absolute mess.
A mess. No connectivity. You're introducing characters that no one knows about or cares about. There's back in the day, you went to go see the movies for end credit scenes. End credit scenes that we've had have not paid off at all. There's no big buildup. There's no mystery. There's no, must-see TV, as they say, for these movies. So I don't understand why Marvel 1, 2, and 3 phases, they had the perfect formula. Then they were like, let's add this and that to it. And now it tastes like crap. It's like, I don't understand. You had people eating out the palm of your hands doing, what you were doing, and you decided to change it up. Why? Oops, wrong button.
We have no connective tissue. People don't know where to go. And so many people dropped off that they're almost daunted by the idea of even trying to get back into it.
Maybe people
are like, hey, I want to see Fantastic Four, but man, I missed the last 2 or 3 Marvel movies.
Even though you didn't have to watch Fantastic Four to understand what was going on, but the average person doesn't know it. Like if they haven't seen like the past 3 Marvel films or 2 Marvel films, they're like, well, I don't know what's going on, because they're so used to things being connected from back in the day. They're like, well, I'm lost in the sauce now, so why am I going to see it? I'll wait. I'll just, it's like binging a show. If they're dropping week by week, most people now are waiting for the show to drop all the way. They don't go back and watch it. So if the normies aren't watching like they were back in the first phases, and they missed 2, 3, 4 movies, they're not going to go in because they're going to think, I don't know what's going on. And now, Rob, going to get us in a second, you throw Disney Plus into it. You have to do homework now to understand what's going on in the movies. Look at WandaVision. If you never watched WandaVision, you had no idea what's going on in Doctor Strange.
Like, maybe I'll just wait because I don't know where it fits in. I don't want to catch up. People went and saw Doctor Strange 2, and they were completely lost because you have to watch WandaVision in order to even get an idea what the hell was going on in Doctor Strange 2.
Disney Plus is a factor in this whole too.
She had the last time she saw Wanda was at the end of Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
She looked at me, she's like, when did she have kids? And I had to sit there and explain, well, there was this mini series on Disney Plus.
Now, I will say WandaVision had more viewers because it was one of the first Disney Plus shows, and it was during COVID, so people were watching it. But you look at like Falcon Winter Soldier, you look at other even Hawkeye has some implications to the bigger feature now. But or Miss Marvel. If you watch Miss Marvel, didn't watch Miss Marvel, you had no idea what was going on in the Marvels movie. You had to watch 2 shows. You had to watch WandaVision and Miss Marvel. So the fact you have to do homework now to understand what's going on is a problem. Whereas before, you had to show up to the movie theater, and that would get you caught up.
It made viewers have to do homework in order to watch it. And I really like Doctor Strange, right? I think sometimes we're a little hard on phase 4 and 5. I don't know if we're in 6. See, that's another problem. I don't even know what phase we're in.
I am the same way, Rob. I have no idea where we're at. I don't know what phase we're in because there's no connectivity no more. There's no clear path of where we're going in the MCU. And that's the problem that people are having, why people are getting turned off.
I have no idea what are we getting ready to enter phase 6? Were we already in phase 6?
No
Back
one
in the
knows.
day, it was so
They don't
easy.
even know.
An Avengers movie came out, you knew the phase was over. Then you move into the
That's
next
true.
phase. I mean, there was some kind of like Ant-Man took place after Age of Ultron and Ant-Man ended the phase. But for the most part, Avengers was your season finale of that phase,
there was
and you moved
clear
into the next phase.
checkpoints where they were going.
We don't know. I have no idea. What was the last movie in phase 4?
It was basically like you had little swells of, you know, things, and then the big wave came. That was always the Avenger movie, you know?
I don't know. What was the last movie, phase 5? Are we in phase 5? Are we in phase 6?
No one knows
this stuff daily,
and we don't know.
I don't know the answers
I'm
to
right there
this
with
stuff.
you.
That is a problem. If I'm having a problem,
The average
then
person
the
don't know.
casual public is having the same problem. And it got to a point where people were like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know who these characters are. Who are the Eternals? Why do we care?
Who's a Shang-Chi?
Yeah. Why are you doing this? Why? I thought Black Widow was dead. When did Wanda have kids? Why is there screaming ghosts going around? What the hell is going on? Like, these are all very valid criticisms.
And like he said, if us nerds and comic book and Marvel super fans and nerds and everything don't know what's going on, average Joe Smo and Susie, they have no idea what's going on. So that's kind of a turnoff. They're like, if I don't know what's going on, I know these movies are one big world. If I don't know what's going on, I'm not going to go into a movie and be like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that girl? You know?
Criticisms. And I think it's fair.
For example, my girlfriend, I've had to break it down. We were watching the MCU movies and I watched them order. I had to explain things to her in between. So you can imagine someone now trying to get into this and missing movies, they would be lost.
To criticize something that you love. Look, everything has a shelf life. Okay, you, me, everything. We are born, and one day we are going to die.
I never thought the MCU
has a beginning has an
20
end.
years now be the biggest
quoted
thing.
From The Matrix. Everything that has a beginning has an end. That is just the facts of life. Marvel was never going to stay on top forever. Everything that is going to be on top
right
will
now.
eventually fall down, and then something else will rise to take its place. If you look at the history of cinema, it has always been that way. Whether you're talking about westerns, you're talking about comedies
rom-coms,
in the 80s, action movies in the 90s. Like, everything has its place, and everything gets cycled out. Marvel was the top thing 6-7 years ago.
I mean, think about what that late 90s, early 2000s, that during guerrilla style film was a big thing. Every movie was doing that. Now no one does that no more. Like Cloverfield, Blair Witch Project, those kind of movies were big back in the day. What's that one? As Above Below, the guerrilla style, filming. That was huge. Now no one does that anymore. So eventually everything's gonna run its course. Did everything MCU, these superhero movies be the biggest thing ever for the longest time? No, but I thought it would last a little bit longer than it is. It'd be its own little genre of movies, but I feel like the genre is dying out now.
Everybody, it was a conversation piece. Everybody was talking about
a pop culture phenomenon.
Guess what? It died. And we can sit here and we can discuss all the reasons why it died. And I'm telling you, there's many
No one reason is the right answer. There's multiple reasons.
It was poor scripts, COVID, Disney Plus, a mess of a plan for phase 4 and phase 5.
There was no plan.
Some of the best actors
I don't think they had a plan.
People getting comic book fatigue, bad comic book movies coming out, a comic book movie every 30 to 60 days. Every time you turn around, boom, there's a new comic book movie coming out. People got oversaturated. There are many
too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
On the reason why
you can drink water. Water's healthy for you, but too much water is bad for you.
And I'm starting to say this: when you lose people, it's hard to bring people back.
Yeah,
right. Look at my channel for an example. This is a bad example, but just look at my channel for an example. I have 28,000 subscribers. 5 years ago, man, my channel was booming. I put out a video, it was guaranteed to get 10, 15,000 views. Now, I am lucky if my video gets 500.
I wish I would get 500, Rob.
Can you imagine going from 15,000 views
my little
to
channel,
500?
we getting like 20, 30 views.
Talking to nobody. And all because I got drunk one night and I did a video about Parasite. I was drunk, I was ignorant, and I wanted to do something stupid. And I got in front of the camera and I did it. And guess what? I paid the price. I got backlash. People were talking about me. I lost tons of subscribers. The people that didn't unsubscribe just stopped watching my videos. And guess what? No matter how much I change my content and I go more positive and I do more reviews and I do shorts and I do, those people are gone. I'm not getting those people back. I need to work hard to bring in new people.
Yep.
And that's just the way it goes.
I will say, he made a mistake. My boy Rob made a mistake. He's owned up to it. And, I've been following Rob for a while, and then we became friends and started doing the show. And I've seen this man, we're the same age. He's a little bit older. He's a year older than me. But I've seen this man grow as a person, as a man, and I respect that. And I believe everybody deserves second chances, especially if you're willing to look in yourself and be like, okay, this is what's wrong with me, and make the effort to change. I respect that as a person, and as from man to man, I respect them for that. And that's why the whole Parasite thing. Yes, we all made mistakes. I could sit here and say, try to criticize them for that. But, who am I? We all live in, glass houses. So people who are, criticizing him, make sure you're not throwing stones in a glass house and all that kind of thing. But again, I respect Rob for that. He's owned up to it. He's, he's grown as a person over the years since I've met him. I've been following him before Parasite, and then we met him. I met him, personally, not in person, but we started talking online. And now I'm part of, I consider him a friend, because we do the show together and stuff like that. So I consider him a friend. We, not the show, we text, we call, that kind of stuff, and, we check up on each other just in our personal lives and everything. So I respect him as a man. So him owning up to that is a good thing. He's and like you said, he's trying to be more positive. He's changed. The man has changed. He's older now, so let it go, people.
When Marvel, after Phase 3
he's right,
ended,
though. It's hard to bring people back from that, because that's all they see is saying no one ever sees a good.
Not having a good plan. They like you should have automatically greenlit a Captain America movie, Doctor Strange 2. I know Black Panther had a different situation.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman's passing. That was out.
I still that God, Chad. That whole situation that didn't help at all. His life. There's no one out there by control. But God, if Chadwick had lived and we had a good second Black Panther movie, that would have been amazing. And I think something that would have helped the MCU in the long run. I mean, I'm not saying I love Wakanda forever. Hell, I got a freaking Shuri thing right here. I have her Funko Pop and everything. So I like Wakanda. I thought it was a good movie, a well send off and respectful, honoring Chadwick in a sense. Like I said, no one knew that was coming. That was just something that happened. That's part of life. They roll with the punches.
Hands. But you start the next phase with a character that died, and
I said it the other night.
Characters no one heard of, and another character no one
Eternals,
heard of. Like you got very arrogant. Marvel got very arrogant, thinking they could just do anything because they did a movie with a talking tree and a raccoon, and it made tons of money.
It goes back to what I've been saying. Marvel is a victim of their own success. They got too big-headed. Like we've said before, like I said earlier, our boy Danny always said, you saw that Marvel ticket, people were in the seats no matter what. And that kind of, I think, got to their head where it's like, oh, we can just do this and people will show up. But you have to have good quality stuff if you're going to try that. Like you have to have good stuff and make it make sense and make it connect in this world. Like you have taught us to, everything connects, and like this is a linear thing, quote unquote. But if you're just throwing stuff out there with no meaning or no effort into it, people will eventually be like, this isn't what we're getting before. They're going to get turned off to it. And I think that's what's happened.
But not realizing that was at the height of the MCU, and the fact that we were leading up to Thanos and the Infinity
Exactly.
War.
It all went
And
back to
you
it was
had to
it was
watch
building
Guardians
up
of
to
the
something.
Galaxy to get more of an idea of who Thanos
Things
was.
mattered back
There were
then.
so
The
many
movies
different things
mattered
that were
back
just
then.
firing on all cylinders back then. And then you just mess up and you mess up and you mess up. And we're not even going to get into the social politics of it all, because that's another conversation for
As far as that goes, I still say this: if you do it right, social politics don't play a factor and can be good. You know, movies. I know people say I escape movies to go from reality, but a lot of movies, you know, reflect real life situations. You know, they have undertones or whatever. But again, you have to have good movies to support that and have good writing and make it right, you know?
another day completely. And I don't really agree with all the social politics stuff that people on other channels are always pointing out.
That word
But
woke gets my nerve.
you just you shot yourself, and Marvel shot themselves in the foot. Right? You built Brie Larson up to be like this Superman type character in Captain Marvel. I actually really liked the first movie.
I thought it was
I
really
put
good.
it in the top 15 MCU movies, or maybe even a little higher, like maybe my number 11 or 12. Really
It's up
enjoyed
there.
that movie, but you didn't even give her a proper sequel. You BVS'd her.
He's right.
Instead of giving us Man of Steel.
Captain Marvel should have been a solo movie where she goes back to figure out what was going on with her. You know, the whole call the Marvel is kind of screwed over. I thought that was messed up. But yeah, he's right. So you got BVS.
You threw Batman and Wonder Woman and all this crap into Superman 2, and
Muddy the
you
waters.
BVS'd her, and that was sort of the downfall. One could
And
argue.
again, you had to watch Disney Plus shows to understand what was going on. You had to watch what you had to watch? You had to watch Miss Marvel, you had to watch WandaVision, and you had to watch Secret Wars to understand what was going on in the Marvels movie.
You sort of the downfall of the DCEU. That's a discussion for another day. Don't want to talk about that here. But how DC did Henry Cavill dirty by not giving him a proper sequel. They did the same thing to Brie Larson. Hey, let's throw Kamala Khan in there. Let's
I
throw
like Miss Marvel
in there. Let's throw Photon in there. Who are these characters? Oh, they're on Disney Plus. So not only did you
Gotta
do
do
Brie
your homework.
Larson and the Captain Marvel character wrong by not giving her a direct sequel, you throw characters in there that people have to do homework in order to watch. And it was a financial flop. The Marvels was a financial flop. I actually enjoyed the Marvels.
Good movie, bad
it's not
villain.
My favorite MCU
Good movie, bad villain.
It's on the low end of it, but it was a decent movie. This is a character, Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, is a character that could have been your version of Superman.
Yeah.
You could have done more with the Scroll storyline.
I remember when they announced Captain Marvel. Oh, man, this character's
Invasion,
OP.
Captain Marvel, Secret Invasion. You could have done Secret Invasion as an Avengers movie. Captain Marvel should have got a direct sequel.
Yep.
They should have stayed the course with these trilogies. Okay.
This is where he's right.
Let's get out the next couple Spider-Man movies. Let's do Doctor Strange 2 and 3.
Yep.
Let's do Black Panther 2 and 3.
Yep.
Let's do Captain Marvel 2 and 3. Let's do Ant-Man 3.
Hit your big one with the
Let's give Sam a new movie. Let's give him his own trilogy. Falcon Winter Soldier should have been a movie. Should have never happened. Yep. Should have been a movie.
Been preaching that for a long time.
And then you build to the next Avengers movie, which is Secret Invasion. Like, this is not complicated stuff. You know? And then
it's so sad when average people like Rob, me, and just people in general, we have better concepts than these guys in the studios. I'm not saying, not just Feige, which, I used to believe in the whole, and Feige I trust, but now it's like, I don't know, man. It's like the missteps lately is just kind of like, it's taking it out of it.
You can start building on other characters. You want to throw Eternals in there? Throw them in one of the movies. You should have introduced them like you did Spider-Man.
The best introduction.
And T'Challa.
Yeah.
Move forward.
He just said the best introduction to characters was in Civil War. T'Challa and Spider-Man. That's how you do it. And if you're going to have Disney Plus, use Disney Plus to introduce characters like an hour-long special. I've been saying that. Or custom in other movies to see how they do before you go on. Shang-Chi should have introduced in another movie before he got his own movie.
Forward. Like, this is not complicated stuff. I don't understand why if I thought of this,
Yeah.
How people getting paid millions of dollars in a boardroom can't think
I'll
of this
do it for a
stuff.
fraction of price.
It
do it
was
for a
just
fraction of price.
a mess of everything. They completely fumbled the ball. You ever watch football? I forgot, it was a player from the Eagles, I believe. Like, he's running like an 80-yard touchdown, gets down to the 1-yard line, starts celebrating, and drops the ball. He never crossed the plane. That's what Marvel did. You are running for a touchdown, and before you cross the goal line, you drop the ball on the 1-yard line and started celebrating. You fumbled the ball.
You got too confident, got too big-headed. You got too big for your britches, they say.
And Kevin Feige deserves the criticism.
Yes.
He deserves the backlash. He's not
when you're the head of it.
He's just as much as fault as Bob Iger and Bob Chapek. This is a multiple situation with multiple different issues, right? We're talking about COVID, movie prices, movie theater etiquette with people that go to the movies. You're talking about Disney Plus, streaming, the economy being what it is.
There's so many factors.
The movies being an absolute mess. We have no idea who the Avengers are. Mm-hmm. We have no idea what's going on.
That's been my biggest thing. It wasn't
until the last 2 to 3 movies he started connecting a little bit. And then you expect people to do homework, watch the Marvels, watch WandaVision, watch Loki, watch this, watch Loki. That. People have busy lives. Like, I'm in this space.
Even with Deadpool and Ring, did $1 billion. You know, if you didn't watch Loki, you didn't know about the TVA and all that stuff.
I do YouTube videos every single day, and I can't keep up with some of this stuff. And not to mention, a lot of the stuff wasn't good. She-Hulk wasn't good.
No.
Moon Knight, I dropped off halfway through the season.
I like Moon Knight. I'll give him that.
And
but it didn't matter. It had nothing to do with anything else.
I, as the viewer and consumer, just lost interest. I never watched Agnetha. I never watched Ironheart.
Yep.
I don't want to watch this stuff anymore.
Because it's put a bad taste in your mouth.
It's a multiple different reasons of why Marvel is a disaster right now. And like I said, everything has a shelf life. We can sit here and we can point to this, and this, but the answer is it's not just that. It's not just that.
It's all of it.
All of that. It's everything. It's everything. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of this. And again, I'm in this space, and I don't know what the hell phase we're in.
I agree with you, Rob.
I have no idea what phase we're in.
No idea what's going on.
Does that mean I'm not going to get excited when the next Marvel movie comes out? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I'll be there opening weekend. I will be there opening weekend.
Yep.
But even me, as a consumer, I used to go see these movies 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
I don't have that excitement that I had back in the day when a Marvel trailer dropped. I didn't have that, oh, I can't wait to see this, marking the date. I'm watching new rock stars on every single trailer to figure out all the Easter eggs. I'm going back reading comics to figure out, oh, what could they do in this? Now I'm just like, I guess I'll check it out when it comes out. I'm going to be there, but I don't have that eagerness and excitement to be at the theater, to, be there day one to experience it. Now I'm just like, okay, I'm going to check it out. We'll see how it goes. That kind of attitude.
Theaters. Now I watch a Marvel movie once, and I'm like, I'll wait to come out on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I'll wait.
I haven't gone to theater twice to see a Marvel movie since, gosh, maybe did I see Spider-Man twice? No, I think Endgame was the last. No, I saw Wakanda Forever twice. I saw that the last movie I went and saw twice at theater.
Like Thunderbolt, it was okay. I caught it the second and third time on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Captain America, I watched it 5 times. First time in theater, 4 more times on Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic Four, great movie. One would say fantastic.
I agree.
I had no interest to go see that in theater again.
I'll watch it when it comes on streaming.
There are certain movies I will see in theaters again. But
I saw Sinners twice. I've seen it 3 times on freaking.
Nothing I have watched in the MCU minus Fantastic Four has given me that wow.
Yep.
Holy crap. Like, I don't have that Winter Soldier feel anymore where you see like the helicarriers crashing through Washington.
The Civil War movie was my favorite one. The T'Challa and Spider-Man thing.
Wow factor You know, what about the Battle of Wakanda, man,
Hmm.
with Killmonger and T'Challa? Like, where's the wow It lost the magic.
Yep.
It lost the magic. And we can sit here and go, well, maybe it's just hard to recapture that magic after we see
No, I
Endgame.
disagree. I disagree.
But I disagree. I
Yep.
disagree. You know, I feel like give us characters we care about. Go back to the trilogies. Sam should have had a trilogy.
Yep.
You know, Doctor Strange should have finished his trilogy. You should have gave Captain Marvel her proper movies, and then you start
All
building
valid
new
points.
characters like you did in Phase 2
Or build them
and
around
Phase 3.
those movies.
Again, I just want to point out, I don't even know what phase we're in. I think we're getting ready to enter Phase 6.
Is it
but
Phase 6?
We used to have Avengers movies, which were the season finale.
They were checkpoints
we
for
haven't
us.
had an Avengers movie since Endgame, and we're already in the next 2 phases. What's going on? You can't sit there and train your audience to do one thing and then completely change it and expect your audience to remember that.
Prime example, Coke. I think it was like what, late 80s, early 90s. Coke had the best formula, or the Pepsi. It was Pepsi. Pepsi had the best formula, or whatever. Then they come out with that Crystal Pepsi or whatever, and it was a disaster. Why would you change things if what you have is working? There's no point in changing something if it is consistently working. You know, you can try to tweak it to improve it, but you could change your formula completely. It's so stupid. The first 3 phases, Marvel had the perfect formula. Like you said, they were hitting on all cylinders. You know, they were putting bodies in seats no matter what. That Marvel logo came on, people were there. I don't understand from a financial point, why would I change something that is bringing me in big bucks? Leave it the way it is until it stops bringing big bucks. Then you try to fix it. They changed it, and then it stopped bringing big bucks, and now they're trying to fix it. It makes no sense to me.
You could have created a new Avengers team. You know, give Sam, instead of Falcon Winter Soldier, give Sam his own movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, him and Bucky and Sharon Carter start building that.
Yeah,
and then
they're using
you do Brave New World as the...
Another thing, they're not using characters that they have already to supplement the missing parts, like, you know, Iron Man leaving and you know, Captain America leaving. You have other characters that you can use and bring up now, but they're not using them correctly. They killed Maria Hill. I think was one of the stupid things. She could be the new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Disney Plus to have a bigger world and kind of connect things, but have an underlying story for more ground level stuff, or have her be running sword now and all that stuff. But they killed off characters. They don't use characters like Sharon Carter, who's now like this bad guy, which they tell us that, but then they never use it again. So it's like, again, they're not paying off stuff.
5th film, which would be the second Sam's film. And then you do an Avengers movie with these characters. Like, this isn't hard. You had the formula. Why'd you mess it up?
Yeah.
Why'd you mess it up?
It's the
You ever
Pepsi-
had a
Pepsi-
recipe
Coke
and you
Zero.
followed this recipe
Yeah.
and it was perfect?
Yeah.
And then just one day you're like, I just want to add a little bit of this. I want to change it up. I
Yeah.
don't want to spice it up. And you messed up everything.
Yep, it's the Pepsi thing I told you. I think Coke did it too when they changed their sugar or whatever sometime, and people were backlash and they went back to the old formula. It's like, I don't understand.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
You know, but I'm going to get ready to end this video because this was supposed to be a 5-minute video. We're going on 25 minutes in. So I obviously I had a lot on my chest about this that I wanted to talk
It's
about.
not just you, there's a lot of fans, Rob. A lot
I
of
see
fans.
people scrambling online. Why did Fantastic Four bomb? Why did Thunderbolts do bad? Why did Captain America Brave New World? These are good movies.
It's not
these
their
are
fault.
good films.
It's not their
At
fault.
the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your film is. If nobody wants to go see it, nobody's gonna know how good it is.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to kind of talk about it because, yes, it kind of bothers me because I'm a big MCU fan, and to see these movies just doing so poorly, it's very, very bad. It's not good.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not mentioning DC
disheartening
for a reason because I think that's a conversation for another day, another video. I'm not trying to compare DC to Marvel.
That's a whole different thing.
I've done that in the past where I talked about like Black Panther destroyed the DCEU. You know, right now, it's just really weird. I think there is a comic book fatigue.
Yep.
And you have to put better movies out there. People need to.
You talk about fatigue. Look, I will say that Sinners is the example of comic book fatigue. That movie brought in numbers, not $1 billion number, but word of mouth, popularity, something different, that people, it was not this, the general was going on, the same cookie cutter shit. So yeah, I think super fatigue is a real thing.
Leave the theater happy. And I don't think anybody's leaving Thunderbolts, Captain America, or Fantastic Four happy. They're leaving going, oh, that was good, but where's the happiness? Where's the excitement?
Yeah, not happiness. It's the excitement, and I can't wait for the next one thing that we had before.
Man, that was great. I want to go see that again. I'm on cloud 9. You leave it, and you're like, oh, that was great, but are you happy?
Yeah.
So it's not doing well. Makes me sad. I'm a big fan of all these movies. I think they're all really, really good. And I think they did turn it around with these last 3 movies. But unfortunately, when you have a big ship, it's hard to turn it around. And when you lose people, it's hard to bring it back. So why did Fantastic Four bomb? Or why did it bomb? Because it still has a chance to. It's a far chance.
The Hail Mary. It's a Hail Mary.
It's got a lot ahead of it in order to break even. But why did this happen? The answer is very simple. There's many different reasons.
Yep.
Nobody can list just 1 or 2 reasons on why the MCU is doing bad. Yep. Because the answer is dozens.
It's an accumulation of things.
Reasons. When something goes wrong in your car and it's just one thing and you let it go, you might be able to ride by a little bit. But then something else goes and something else goes. And eventually you put it off for so long that everything is wrong with your car. Which, knock on wood, hopefully nothing happens to my car.
Same, me too.
But that's sort of what happens. You can only put off certain things. When one mistake starts equaling many, many mistakes, it's harder to come back from many mistakes.
When you
course correct,
digging that hole, it's harder to get. It's easy to dig that hole, but it's hard to get out that hole.
1 or 2. So why is it doing bad? The answer is many, many. No one has the definitive answer because there's many different answers. So anyway, guys, thank you guys. If you stuck around for the whole 26 minute plus video, do me a favor, just put a thumbs up or something in the comments.
Make sure you guys go to Rob's channel and subscribe
toward the end. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Again, I thought my boy Rob did a good job of breaking down why the MCU is like he says in big trouble right now. It's not one thing. It's an accumulation of things that have happened and poor decisions and just outside factors that have really hurt the MCU. And I've been saying for a long time, one of my big issues is the lack of connectivity and the mess of the last, like you said, I don't know what phase we're in, 3 phases or whatever. There's no, linear connectivity. There's no, I have to see this movie to to get the bigger picture. But yeah, there's just so much going on in MCU. It sucks because I think the last 3 movies that they had were actually decent and good movies. It's just that with all the other factors that happened before these movies, it's just they didn't do good financially, which is very disheartening because I like this genre of film. It's just my childhood finally coming to the big screen, and just seeing it not what it was before the past 10 years is disheartening. Because I want the movies to do good, because when movies do good like this, it gives us better stuff for the future. But make sure you guys check out my boy Robert's channel, Robert Storm's channel. I have his link down in my description. We do a live show every Sunday at 8 p.m. So if you have not checked it out, please come check us out at Sunday at 8. Pretty sure we'll be talking about this video right here and other stuff. But yeah, go to my boy's channel and subscribe. Also do a show on Wednesday nights with my friends Danny and Gascar, who are also on the show on Sunday nights, called a Hangout on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. So check us out tomorrow night. All links are down in the description. Make sure you subscribe to all those channels. And subscribe to my channel if you have not yet. 2,000 subscribers at the end of the year. So, but yeah, this was a real good video. I think Rob has broken it down more than better than any other video I've watched over the past few weeks about the MCU. And he is just not. I think he did it in a more what's the word I want to use? Not general, more sincere way. He didn't just did it for clicks or rage bait. It was actually a genuine discussion about the breakdown of the MCU. So yeah, go watch this video over there, give them the views and everything. I'm just reacting to it. So, but yeah, till next time, guys, I will see you when I see you. Peace.